Few musical acts have shocked and horrified mainstream audiences as much as one of the most controversial bands of all time. They're rather revered by their fans or despised by their legions of critics from their music, artwork, and merchandise. That band is Cannibal Corpse, not to be mistaken by some barbershop quartet. The American death metal band was formed in Buffalo, New York in 1988. The band's lineup have changed over the years, but the original members are Alex Webster, Paul Mazurkiewicz, Jack Owen, Chris Barnes, and Bob Rousset. Years later, when the band fired Rousset, it was because his playing was not up to par, as they felt he was not progressing. Alex Webster came up with the name of the band, and he and Paul are the only two original members remaining. The current lineup includes them, as well as Rob Barrett, Eric Rutain, and George Corpse Grinder. Back in 1989, they had just finished recording their first 5-song demo and had their first gig before being signed to Metal Blade Records. Within a year, their first album, Eaten Back to Life, was released in August of 1990. Obviously, a band named Cannibal Corpse have album covers and lyrics that contain images of violence and gore, including butchery, demons using power tools on their victims, and the dead devouring the flesh of rotting corpses. The band draws heavily from horror movies for inspiration, and some other titles include Force-Fed Broken Glass, Stripped, Raped, and Strangled and Mummified in Barbed Wire. This kind of controversy will always have censorship follow, and in 1995, Senator Bob Dole led a campaign by a group of assholes to get Cannibal Corpse, along with 20 other musical acts, thrown off their major labels for being too offensive. It didn't work. The United States was not the only country to have a problem with the band's material. Over the years, they've been banned by Australia, Germany, and Russia, with Russia going as far to say that their music was punishable by Russian law because it incites religious division. The band themselves have always stood behind their using of violence and gore because they say it's so clearly fictional in its appearance. George Fisher has argued in an amazing documentary called Metal, A Headbanger's Journey, that the paintings hanging in the Vatican could be considered more violent because they depict actual events as described in the Bible. If you want to see a quick sample of their work, the band made a cameo in the Jim Carrey movie, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and performed their track, Hammer Smashed Face. Whatever Cannibal Corpse is doing, it's working. They've made 16 studio albums, and even though they never had a mainstream radio play or exposure, they've sold well over 2 million albums worldwide, and are currently the top-selling death metal band of all time.